My name is Shirley-Ann George. I'm the district manager of Ottawa. And I guess my involvement today started with taking Lyle McCormick, who I think many or most of you know Lyle. He's the director of education for the Carleton Board. We took Lyle down to Cupertino, our head office, last October, with the idea of showing him some of the directions that Apple is going. And he saw a lot of these things that are in the labs and whatnot. But David came in and did a presentation that just lit Lyle on fire. He was, I mean, never mind the Apple stuff. Let's just talk about David. So follow-up from that was a desire to bring David up into Canada, and which isn't the first time he's been to Canada. He has and other people in other parts of the country now. Have you traveled to Canada or
Yeah, this is the first time.
It won't be the last.
It's got something to do with geography. We like to go to California.
It's snow by 401 summer line. This is our summer period.
So I wanted to bring everybody back up, or bring David up to expose him to his staff, and as well to expose his ideas. So this is not an Apple Canada day for you. This is more of a David Bolton day, in which we're only here to be observers and to make sure that you have coffee when you need to know what the telephone is. And if anybody hasn't heard, the reason why Lyle isn't here doing this part himself is because he became a brand new grandfather at something like 1 o'clock yesterday morning. And when I met him for breakfast to get the car to ride out to the Halton board, he was instead planning on getting on a plane and flying back to Ottawa to see his brand new baby, who he assures me this grandchild is the most beautiful baby in the world, even though he's never seen it. So David has been in Canada since Tuesday night, I guess. Grew up, did a day session with Carleton Board of Education, and yesterday was with some educators. Sorry, I don't, because I wasn't here, I was in California, and quite who those educators were, many from your board, I think, and then today the planning facility. So what I'm going to do is turn it over to Ellen Hill. Ellen is the marketing manager for Apple Pacific for education, and Alan has been the sponsor and the Apple connection for David.
Thanks, Shirley. One of the things that I do with Apple Pacific is spend an awful lot of time on airplanes. Apple defines Pacific very loosely, with Canada being part of the Pacific, Latin America being part of the Pacific, the Far East being part of the Pacific, and Australia and New Zealand. So this is just a short trip. And we were, when do we get Dave on an airplane to Delhi or something? So know what airplane rides are really like. David is the chairman of a company called Learning Insights, based in Santa Clara, California. And he comes to this job in an interesting way that I think is worth relating. He's not an educator by background. He's never taken an education course in his life that I know of. He's a businessman who is fortunate to be in Silicon Valley, running his own business, and was bought out about 7 years ago, and got a little nest egg and decided, heck, he was going to do what he wanted to do for a while. And what he wanted to do was to do research on things that he had a particular interest in, and it was a wide variety of things. He ended up spending a lot of time in the libraries and in other centers doing research, and became, even though he was very motivated, became very frustrated in getting access to information, in getting alternative viewpoints on things. And as he became more and more aware of these learning frustrations, he became interested in that as the subject of his research, and basically he never left that. And I became acquainted with his work about 5 years ago, and we have spent an enormous amount of time since that time dialoguing and talking about his work and my interest in terms of what technology can do for children. And Dave comes at it very much from the learning side and doesn't focus on the technology, but has over time developed with technology sort of a safety net for learners, so that learners can become in tune with their own learning needs and become much more responsive and dynamic as learners. And that's what he's going to talk to you about today. And we've sort of given little bits of this presentation at the lunch table and in the car on the way back. So for those of you who have heard parts of it, we apologize. What we would like you to do in your role is this is not a presentation, this is an interactive session. And we'd very much like for you to jump in to be part of the discussion. The real reason I'm here is not to introduce Dave, but to test my own deep belief that this is one of the more significant roles that technology can play in education. And I'm very interested in hearing your comments, your feelings, your thoughts on this. So without further ado, Dave, yours.
Thank you, Al.